this is Mariangela with Rebellious, and on behalf of Authority Magazine, it is my great pleasure to welcome with me today my special guest, Jason Rittenberry. Hello, Jason. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic today. How about you?
I am great. I'm excited to be talking to you in light of the huge event you have coming this weekend. So Jason is the president and COO of Music City Grand Prix. And Jason, you're a veteran of the live entertainment industry, motorsports industry, and you produce not just any event, mom and pop event, but you produce world-class events. And you have a huge one coming up this weekend, which I can't wait to talk about in a sec. But before we get to that, let's learn, Jason, a little bit about you and who is Jason and how did you get to do what you do today?
Well, I've been in motorsports and entertainment for about 23 years now. I started in 2000, really totally by chance. I wasn't looking to be in this industry. I was working in the wireless industry. After college, I was with Nextel back in the day, and we were sponsoring some NASCAR events, and I got to know the promoters and organizations within NASCAR. And one day I was in a meeting and they offered me a job. And so I left the wireless world and went to work as a director of sales and marketing for a NASCAR track.
Oh, wow.
And 6 weeks later, the corporate jet showed up from Delaware and fired the general manager, and they offered me the job. So I was 25 years old with 6 weeks experience and now the general manager of a NASCAR track. So I had to learn on the job very quickly at a very young age, and made probably lots of mistakes early in my career, and but I was very fortunate to have an amazing CEO at the time and mentor, and I still talk to him every year on his birthday, and he was just very patient with me and taught me the business, and I owe most of what I've got today in my career to him taking a chance on a young 25-year-old back in 2000.
I'm sure it had to do something with you stepping up your game as well. So just a little bit. Jason, talk about, you are a disruptor, obviously. You started a career that's not typical for a 25-year-old. What is it like to push yourself outside of the comfort zone, as I would imagine that would have been the experience, and, work with people who are veterans in the industry, and you're that youngster amongst them, again, organizing events and telling them what to do?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge, but I think at the time, I'm not sure that anybody really knew how old I was. So fortunately, I may have looked a little older, and I'd been married a couple of years. And so I'm not sure that anybody really knew how old I was. I'm not sure the company knew how old I was when they offered me the job, honestly. But, I just feel like I really found those mentors in the industry and those people that would lead and guide me and give me the best advice. And, I think that's the advice I give any young people today that are in an industry or are new to anything, is just find those champions that are going to support you and help you, and hitch yourself to them and let them teach you all you can, and absorb as much as you can and listen. And that's what I had to do at such an early age.
You mentioned, as you started talking, making mistakes. And I think mistakes are key for our personal growth. Can you note a little bit about that and how your mistakes has served you on your growth journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think early on in my mistakes were probably just my age and inexperience more than anything. It was, I probably let that title go to my head a little bit. Hey, I'm the general manager. I'm in charge now. You listen to what I say. And I'm sure that I did that for a while. But I also learned from those and learned that's not the way to manage and not the way to be a leader. And so I think I've learned a lot from those mistakes throughout the years, and especially early on. But now, I'm definitely more of a listener than a talker when it comes to leading and managing. And I hire the right people and put them in the right position and let them to do their job. I don't want to hire somebody that I have to micromanage. So I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned from that experience.
Yeah, and you noted a couple of great things. You know that leadership, you hiring, there's the saying of hire people who know more than you do, right? And can you talk about what makes a leader an effective leader? You mentioned listening, you mentioning hiring qualified people, you mentioned not micromanaging people. What makes a leader an effective leader?
Well, I think understanding your team and knowing, everyone's strengths and tailoring your company to those strengths. And I'm a very big believer in that, is just get the right people, and then we'll figure out what you're going to do for us down the road. That the whole saying of get the people on the bus and then put them in the right seats. It's very much how I manage. I find good people and get them on the team and create the position that fits their skill sets. And then I think that builds loyalty from your team, that builds trust from your team, and really that's the way I try to lead by example, and show people to trust their coworkers and allow them to do their job and not micromanage, and know that we've got the best team available for the job, whatever it is we're taking on.
Jason, you organize big events, like events attended by hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm sure there's stumbling blocks and things that don't go just the way they're supposed to go. How do you handle roadblocks, and how do you handle managing a team, especially if you have young people who don't know how to deal with the unexpected and constant changes, and collaborating amongst different personalities?
Again, I think it's putting the right people in the right positions. And that's what we try to do. Is we do have a lot of young people on our team, but we also spend a lot of time with them and make sure they have the tools they need to be able to do their job. But when it comes to obstacles for us, I mean, our goal is to try to make them as minimal as possible, and keep them out of the public eye. I mean, with hosting major events and producing major events, it's going to happen. Those things are going to happen. They're going to happen in advance. They're going to happen, during the build, the load in. They're going to happen during the show. And I think the biggest key for us is to make sure the public never sees those. Is to have a plan and to be able to react as quickly as possible, so they're not impacting the fan or the guest and their experience of our event.
So an interesting question for you. Do you do any kind of mindfulness work or such work for your team to help them to stay calm and collected, just in case, an emergency happens, something falls through the cracks last minute?
Well, I don't know that we necessarily do any kind of work to prepare for that. We meet and we talk about it, and we have a plan in place. And I think planning and being prepared is the best training and the best planning we can do for that situation. Is just be prepared for every situation. And ultimately, something could come up that we're not prepared for or planned for. But I think we've planned and prepared for so many situations that nothing that's really going to happen is going to be that much different from one of the other situations that we plan for. Small issues all the way up to major catastrophic issues at an event, and we have plans and prepared for everything in between.
All right. So let's touch base on the event that's coming up this weekend. And that is, you guys are running it for the third year. Is that correct? Yep.
The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, coming into our third year on the streets of downtown Nashville. 3-day event next weekend.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about
this weekend now.
Yeah.
Monday. So it's this weekend.
Yes. What is it? August? Is it 6th through the 8th? Something like that?
4 through 6.
4 through 6. Okay.
4 through 6. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this coming weekend. 3-day event, the NTT IndyCar Series, racing through the streets of downtown Nashville. 3 music stages throughout the property, and in downtown Nashville. Tons of music, tons of racing. We have 6 different race series here. So really some type of racing for every type of fan, whether they're IndyCar fans or sports car fans or, American muscle cars. And we even have trucks racing on the track that jump ramps and race on 2 wheels. So literally something for everybody. And then the same thing on the music, all different genres of music. We go from country to rock to, we have Flow Rida on Saturday night with hip hop and rap. So we have a little bit of something for everybody, from music, from racing, and food, all the Nashville favorites, food trucks, tons of opportunities on site. And then this year we also added something new to our lineup, a fast pass. So for those that have been to Nashville and know Lower Broadway and all the honky tonks and the clubs that are down there, on a weekend night, there's anywhere from 30 to 45, some even over an hour wait to get into those. And so something new we've added this year, we've partnered with all those clubs on Broadway. And if you're a 3-day ticket holder for our event, you have a fast pass wristband, kind of like Disney World. And that gets you right to the front of the line and into those clubs after the race. So your late night after hours activities once you leave the racetrack.
All right. And Jason, that you were one of the people who had the vision for that event, right? What is it like to have the vision, but more importantly, to execute on the vision? Because there are a lot of people who have visions and dreams and they just kind of never come to fruition. What is it like to see an event that you have envisioned come to life? And I mean, again, on a huge scale.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of my career highlights and an amazing experience for our team and the group that we put together here, from our investors and ownership group to our management team. It's, it took definitely a group effort. It took us almost 5 years to get this race going, from the time that we had the vision and started working on it until it actually took to the streets of Nashville. So, it's an awesome experience, and I would just encourage everyone that has a dream or has a vision to, put your mind to it and do what you've got to do to get it done, and don't give up.
Yeah, that is a powerful message. And actually, I was going to ask you, what is a piece of advice or a favorite quote that you have that you would like to leave with our listeners? Anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think just believe in yourself and believe that you can get it done, and don't take no for an answer, and don't give up. We had a lot of no's, and we could have quit long before we got this race finalized. We went through a stretch here in Nashville over a 2-year period. We had 4 different mayors, just a string of circumstances, and we had to start over every time we had a new mayor in that 2-year period. We had to start from scratch, explaining what we were trying to do, and so we could have easily quit, we could have easily given up, but we didn't. And so just stick to it, stick to your plan, and believe in yourself, and keep moving forward.
I love it. Jason, I'm super excited to check out the event. I have never been to such an event, and actually I've only been to Nashville for like a couple of hours. So I'm really excited to see Nashville during an event such as the Music City Grand Prix.
It's a big event. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, so I do hope you guys have an amazing time. I hope things go smoothly and you and your team have a blast. Wish you continued success. And once again, thanks so much for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jason. Can't get enough of those rebellious conversations? Do make sure you subscribe, like, and share with your friends.